Welcome back to On the Line. I'm your host, Juan Roque, with my partner in crime, the Rhino, Ryan Knowles, and talking a little bit about ASU hoops. Very surprising, Rhino. Very surprising run. This is a team last season that we talked about. A lot of struggles. You're missing some players.
Every week.
Players transferring. Players getting suspended.
Yes.
I mean, it was just one drama after the other. And I remember, it ties into what we're going to talk about right now, because when they went to the LA last year, all the drama, didn't they have like 3 or 4 suspensions right before the USC game or the UCLA game last season? Because
they had the SoCal. They had the SoCal schools for the first time this year at home. You know, this was a series that I felt like they really needed, because first of all, USC's always been scrappy. They've always played ASU tough, year in and year out, no matter who's on their team. And then, you know, obviously UCLA, I mean, Ben Howland, he always gets his players ready to play. They're always in contention.
That's another one of those storied basketball programs.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, there was a couple of years there in the mid-2000s where they went to, what, 2 Final Fours in back-to-back years. They played the national championship game.
And they had this guy named Lou Alcindor who was pretty good for them back in the 60s.
Yeah, exactly. So,
or 70s or whatever that was.
Going back way back in the day. But I mean, this was a series that felt like it was going to be a great test for ASU, especially coming off that tough loss to U of A last weekend. Where they really got throttled, and really the only player who showed up, in my opinion, was Jahi Carson. And you know, they really needed more guys to step up in this weekend, and they did. I mean, I think that the biggest test of their character came on Thursday, when they were up on USC practically the entire game. They led by double digits several times, and then late in the game, USC just started nailing 3-pointers, and they were able to come back, and with 0.4 of a second, their very talented senior Gio Fontaine knocked down a 3 to tie the game with 0.4 of a second. I mean, that's such a backbreak here for a team. I mean, with a team, going into overtime, you don't have the momentum. Yeah, you're playing at home. It's such a tough situation. And big reason why they won that game was Evan Gordon, Eric Gordon's little brother. He's really found his stride. He struggled to really come into his own earlier in the season in non-conference play, but he had 28 points in that game. He played all 45 minutes of that game. This is not a very deep team right now. They maybe go 7, 8 guys deep, and with no backup guard Chris Colvin over the weekend. He's a big player off the bench for them. He was suspended for the weekend. And then obviously we talked about Jahi Carson. I mean, guys,
since last season.
Oh yeah, I think this would have been a much different team last year had he been cleared to play. He just continues to impress. He had 21 points and 8 assists against the Trojans. And then, Carrick Felix, I mean, what more can you say about this guy? He's been probably the most improved player in the conference, in my opinion. 16 points, 10 rebounds on his way.
3-time conference player of the week, which is...
Yeah, exactly.
Conference is pretty good players.
One Pac-12 player of the week again this week, and was also named ESPN's player of the week for the entire country this week. So, and then, going into Saturday, obviously that... you need to have that game against UCLA, because UCLA went down to Tucson and really embarrassed the Cats on Thursday.
Good for you, Bruins.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I was rooting hard for them, definitely. But I mean, for them, but then they had to come up to Tempe. I mean, yeah, they don't have, but this is still they probably have one of the best players in the country in Shabazz Muhammad. I mean, definitely it's probably a top 5 pick coming up in the draft. And yeah, they didn't have their very talented forward Travis Ware. He's one part of Twins. His twin David Ware is also a very talented player. But they did not play a very good game at all. And the big reason why was ASU's defense and their rebounding. I mean, they did not allow very many second chance points. They out-rebounded the Bruins 53-33, and a big reason why was Andrew Baczynski. And this guy Jordan Baczynski. And when he was just a monster on the boards. I mean,
I watched him closely. He was all over those boards.
Yeah, I mean, he had career highs with 22 points, 15 rebounds. 8 offensive rebounds.
Looks like he's gained a little weight and strength. Like he's banging around in that middle. Yeah. He's playing like a big man. Like a big man's supposed to play. Not a glorified forward. He's playing like a center.
He's over 7 foot. I mean, he should be playing. He's got to be playing big. Absolutely. And then, I mean, he's shown it on the defensive end as well, because he's just been you really can't go in with anything on him, because I mean he will send it away. I mean he had like double-digit blocks a couple times earlier in the year. He had 6 blocks in this game. I mean he really shuts down the middle of the lane, changes a lot of shots, and then now that he's really starting to come into his own, in my opinion. After he showed flashes at times last year, but was very inconsistent. Kind of really become a more complete player this year, and Carrick Felix, they got another big game from him. I mean, he was huge in this game, especially on the defensive end. He held Shabazz Muhammad in check, was really able to keep him contained, and then on the offensive end, I mean, they got out and got him to run, and he and Carson had a real nice 2-man game going in transition. He finished up with 23 points, 11 rebounds, 3 steals. Carson and Gordon both chipped in 12 points apiece. The team, and I mean, they're sitting at 16-4 right now. 5-2 in conference. This is one of the best starts that they've had, and they had kind of a weak conference schedule. They did play a ranked team in Creighton in Vegas in a very tough tournament, but they're starting to get into the meat of the schedule a little bit, and they had a couple setbacks last weekend with U of A and Oregon the week before that. But I feel like this is a marquee win against UCLA, and they really took it to the Bruins, and they're looking to go. If they can win at the Washington School, well, at least one on Thursday, they'll be 17-4 for the first time since 1980-81 season.
That's pretty big.
That was like the years of Alton Lister and Byron Scott. So I mean, that's going to be huge for them if they can go into the Washington Schools and come away with a couple victories.
Yep. So we do wish them well on their road trip, and of course we also want to recognize Coach Charlie Turner Thorne,
the Lady Devils.
The Lady Devils, not having a great year this season, Rhino, but she did earn her 300th win as ASU's head basketball coach. Congratulations!
Big come from behind win over the women of Troy at SC over the weekend. That was a game I felt like they looked like they were going to kind of fade it at halftime, and they came back and went on an 11-0 run in the second half to come out with it. So big congrats, Charlie. You have our salute.
Third Pac-12 coach to reach that milestone. So that's going to do it for the Roundball segment of our show, and as we get wrapping down here on this edition, next we'll be talking a little bit heroes and zeros, who's making headlines, for what reasons, and are they the right reasons. And then of course Rhino's good, bad, ugly, and then we'll wrap it all up, so don't go away.